So
Gorilla, what's this?
So we're gonna go down to the last article. There wasn't much going on, but this one I left last because this is actually wanted to bring up an actual big discussion that I wanted to talk about with you guys. God of War Ragnarok, or so it's supposedly called God of
God
War
of War
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok, you mean?
Ragnarok.
Heyo.
Ragnarok.
So it's been delayed again, or delayed, sorry. It's only been delayed once. So it's been delayed from the 2021 announcement to sometime in 2022. So while most really aren't surprised it's delayed, since AAA games always tend to be delayed at least once or twice, it was announced to shock some people that God of War was going to be released for PS4 and 5. So I think that was a bigger deal, more so than the delay of the game. Now, with this in mind, do you think having a AAA game such as Ragnarok is limited or not live up to its full potential because it has to be on par with the last gen technology? So essentially, like what I'm asking is, does old gen games hold back new
No, dude.
gen?
I go first.
Sure.
Of course.
Okay, cool. No, that's cap. Because God of War, the PS4 version, the most recent one, looked gorgeous. I don't think it's gonna limit the amount. And sorry to say, knock on wood, I know we beat this dead horse so much often, but it's not a Cyberpunk 2077. It's God of War. We know that they have the capability to put the work in to make it work on the PS4 and PS5. It's not gonna look great on the PS4, but it's gonna run much better than any version of Cyberpunk on any console. I would say excluding PC, because PC is hit or miss. But it's gonna be great. I don't think it's a problem. I'm actually glad that they delayed it, and I'm glad that they're still giving, like, I would say, games and love to the PS4. Like, they're not just exclusively jumping straight to the 5.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate about it because although I do agree with you on that, I look at it in a different way as well because that way we can continue with the conversation.
Sure.
Graphically, I could understand that it'll be limited, but what do you think about gameplay features and stuff like that as well? Like because of the limited memory capacity the PS4 is gonna have. Let's say like you making the PS5 version, you're trying to fit as much features as you can in the new God of War game, but you can't because you're limited of about with the PS4's specs or memory or whatever it may be. So like, do you think that really affects it that much as well? Like I kind of think it does. Not that it's I still don't think it's a big deal because if it does, it does. Then we're gonna get the game. We're gonna get the game, and that's all I care about.
My thing, it would be, what would it be affected by it? You know what I mean? Like that. Like, the only thing I can see is, honestly, is graphics. Performance, it's gonna run, like, it's gonna run well.
What do you think?
I
Maybe
don't
about
think.
the length of the game.
How long is the game?
I mean, the first game wasn't that
I mean, the
long, to
last
be
one wasn't
honest.
that long either.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. That's like saying RE4, I mean RE8 would play different if it was on 5, on PlayStation 5, and it's like the exact same game. Like that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's not going to be a drastic difference. It's not going to be like game loads in like 30 seconds, and like and you could beat the game in like 5 hours, something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be like, it's going to look amazing on the PlayStation 5. It's going to look okay or decent on the PlayStation 5, depending on the version you get. And performance-wise, I think it would run well on the PlayStation 4. I can only speak for the PlayStation 4 because I don't have the 5. But saying like it's going to like something being drawn back would affect it, I doubt it. Or if it is, it's not going to be like on like a high scale, or like something dramatic. Like, the game won't just run on P4. Like, it will only run on 5, and then every time you play it on P4, it blows up your system.
Like
Like that. It
Cyberpunk.
won't be something like, yeah, like Cyberpunk. It won't pull a Cyberpunk, but it would run, but it's not gonna run fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it will run.
Yeah, I'm sure the loading screens on a PS4 would be horrendous, but and PS5 would be a lot faster. But I think that'll probably be the only downside, in my opinion.
3 hours for a load screen, that's fine. I downloaded the game for 8 hours.
You die, and
Hold
then you
on,
have
I'm
to go
sorry,
through a
but, like-
load screen checkpoint for 3 hours.
Am I the only one that doesn't mind loading screens?
Why not?
Yeah.
I love them.
Because like some of them are actually kind of nifty. Like
Wow.
what is it? No, for Nier, you have his sister or daughter based on whatever you played. for loading screen, like the loading bar is going, and she's like either standing there waving at you, or she's like walking, or like running, or it's just like there's a nice little cute graphic going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
like the type, like the typewriter in Resident Evil 8. I don't know why I enjoyed so much. I hate to continue. I'm just like, just keep typing. I don't know what's going on. But go ahead.
but it's
Uh,
like I enjoy those kind of little things. So I don't want that to like go quicker
I
or
mean,
anything.
I'm
Because
okay.
here's a funny thing. In Nier, with the walking and running one, there's a chance that she could like trip over herself and fall like and land face first.
Oh, I need to
So
see that. I need to see that.
dude, it's hilarious. I love it.
Okay. So
But I feel like
here's the thing though with that.
oh,
Here's the thing though with that. When you see little unique features like that where you can move around, like for example, when you mentioned that, I thought of like Assassin's Creed. Like while it's loading, you can kind
Mm,
of run around in the whatever VR thing that they're hooked up to. I forget what it's called, but
it starts with
that's
an A.
well, Abstergo is the company name, but I don't remember
No.
what the machine was
Well,
that they were hooked up to. But
I'll look it
you
up.
know,
Keep talking.
yeah. So you're running around in it. That's basically masking the loading screen. I guess I'm okay with that stuff, and I'm okay with a little bit of art, a little bit of like story, like clips and stuff like that in a loading screen. But like, just give it to me for like 10, 20 seconds max. Like, I don't want to stand there for 3, 4, 5 minutes on a loading screen, especially when you're dying
mhm,
a lot in a game or restarting
mhm.
or loading up stuff again, and you're dealing with it over and over and over. Like, one example comes to mind is Bloodborne. When I was playing Bloodborne,
Oh no, they had to patch that.
you know you're gonna die. I know, but we're talking about like when the game came out though.
Pre patch.
Beforehand,
Pre
Yeah, the
patch.
day one
like
did. Yeah.
you die a lot, and you had to. That was the punishing part of the game is dealing with the load screens so often. So give it to me for like 20 seconds. That's it. That's all I need.
Mm. You
Well,
know what game? You know what game hurts when you die? Neo. It plays
Neo,
the like Neo, like Neo or Neo 2. It plays like a music, and then it just like plays in the loading screen. It just shows like the graveyard, and I was like,
ages.
it's oddly satisfying, but I'm depressed.
I hate loading screens. I mean, until once you don't have loading screens anymore, once you
Mhm.
get used to that, it's so hard to go back. I'm fucking playing Biomutants, and when you die, the load screen is fucking horrendous,
Yeah, on a
and I'm
PS5.
not used to that on a PS5, so I can't even imagine what the fucking PS4 is.
Hmm.
So,
I
like,
see.
I can't do it anymore. I don't care how cute or whatever it is. It's just I'd rather
Hmm.
play a game. The whole
Now,
point is that I can jump back into it.
Now back to the God of War topic though. Randy, what were you thinking about the game itself? Does it hold back the PS4? I mean, sorry, the PS5 version?
um, I I don't know. There's a lot of games that are delayed now. To be quite honest, I wasn't too fond of Dad of War. I preferred the like the
Why?
older hack and slash ones,
Yeah.
hack and slash, whatever.
Hmm.
I don't think that it's gonna really, set it back or anything. Like the delay, it's gonna make sure that if anything, they're gonna make it right for both versions, for the PS5 and the PS4. Because given that time, instead of it being okay, this is the PS5 model. Oh, excuse me, Jesus. It's not gonna be like, okay, so here's just a little bit of things that we can make to change. It might be a massive overhaul. It might be a minor overhaul, but they're going to make sure that whatever you can do on the 5, you could also do on the 4.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Because that's a franchise that they haven't really like. I don't think that they fucked up. The only reason I don't like Dad of War is because it just changes it a bit, but I don't think that they like fucked it up entirely.
Hmm.
You wasn't feeling the
So
story or the gameplay? What was it?
just Kratos didn't feel like Kratos to me.
Hmm.
What'd you
I
say,
don't
boy?
know if that makes any sense.
Boy.
Because I'm used to the Hades kind of fucking Kratos, not the
I
boy
Yeah,
Kratos.
well, I get that. Like, I'm really
Yeah,
curious
like
about that. I'm really curious about that because the reason why he's such a different character in the new God of War is because he has evolved as a
Because of
person.
Atreus, yes.
yeah, and that's what I loved about it is that he's older, he's old, he's done, he's gone through war, he's completed his mission. He just wants to rest, relax, type of thing, and shit keeps bringing him back
Yeah, but
in, and
who's
so
telling the
it's like
fucking giant though?
Yeah.
He had no business going into Norse mythology, piping a giant, and then coming out with Loki. Like that's his own fault. He literally walked into that.
He found Lady Dimitrescu.
Basically, he's like, "Ooh, big lady, give me like, come on." Don't say I'm
But
done and then just spread your seed in a different fucking mythos like that. Kratos, you're literally asking for it, buddy.
I think I'll be fine. I got 13 more.
Oh man.
But can we discuss though what was Kratos packing to like get that giant like?
Well, I don't think she was a literal giant though. They were a species that were
Okay, it's okay.
considered
there was
giants.
species, yeah, yeah.
Kevin, put that away.
I didn't see it.
Oh, you don't want to.
You don't want to.
You don't want to. Fucking hell, dude.
Oh, that was good.
Oh wow.
Holy shit. Okay, well,
And I said white couch. Oh
Danny,
fuck.
Danny, I want to know your
Oh, I saw
thoughts.
it now.
Your
I saw it
thoughts.
just now.
Oh, on the
The
on the stream.
He's on the
delayed,
stream.
so I
Yeah,
just saw it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that idea that it might set back the PS5 version because they're trying to like make it compatible with PS4?
Well, I think the first thing is that obviously the game was meant to come out. The game was probably supposed to come out way before it actually has been, and it's been delayed on it.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, because they're working on it, they started working on it right after the other one,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been delayed. So it obviously was meant for the first gen system. So to me, that is a little bit disappointing because that means they didn't have the second gen systems involved.
In mind.
The next gen in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So that means a lot of the features won't fully be integrated. They're going to be half-ass integrated, which is always kind of lame. You know,
Mhm.
like Returnal was made for the next gen. You know, they had that in mind. They wanted all as much as the power it can do. So it had a lot of the features you would want in the new next gen system.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Randy,
I
you
think
disagree?
Okay, here's the thing. I get that, but really like kind of thinking about that, as you said, yeah, Returnal was for the next gen system. There's nothing wrong with that. God of War could have also been for the next gen system, but given the circumstances, it's probably just inclusivity. Because Kevin and I, we don't have the 5.
mhm.
Yes.
And God knows when the fuck they're going to come out with like the rest of the system, so that we get the chance to actually get one. So if I do feel like playing Dad of War Ragnarok, then I'll get it for the 4.
Yes.
Yeah, but at the same time, this is not coming out. It's going to be a year later after the console come out, or maybe more.
Well, who's to say
So
they're actually going to be like super available this year or
Yeah,
next year?
they're still not gonna be. They've already announced
Yeah,
that they were.
well,
because they have like a bunch of fucking scalpers that are still going to be assholes. Because as long as there's
yes,
that
but I
supply and
still ra-
demand,
but I still
you're going to
rather
have that to, like
but
factor in.
yes, they have other factors of things like that's happening, and that this is a problem that we have never have had happen in the past. So you got to think of it as past tense. Like if you got the new 360, whatever it is, you don't want to play a game that's for the you have the new next gen console. You have it, and you know. Sorry, but you guys don't have it. But yeah, we have it. We have the next gen console. We
Yeah,
want
keep
to see
bragging, keep
games
bragging.
for
That's
the
fine.
yeah. We want to see games. We want to feel the games for the next gen console. We want to know that that's what they're doing. We don't want the older gen. You know, we don't need that because we've had it. We've gone
Did you hear
out,
that,
moved
Kevin? We're
on, and we want
obsolete.
to see it.
I mean,
Exactly. I mean, it is.
I have a genre of game that I play, so it doesn't affect me.
Yeah, no. To be fair, I'm like I don't really do like next gen
Okay.
shit or whatever the case,
So,
but I'm just saying it more for those
Yeah.
that don't have it. Like, yeah,
so
I know that next gen is now, but
Mhm.
next gen isn't also
You
readily
guys,
available.
you
for
guys aren't
everyone.
missing out on anything. Yeah, there's really nothing
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're missing out on.
my whole
I think that is part of the problem because they're not developing the games that they're still coming out right now are still the in between stage, which I'm more looking forward to what they want to do. Like the next Final Fantasy, what's it? What the fuck is coming up? The next
Integrate?
one?
N-
No, not that.
No,
The
no.
next one. The
16.
16?
16.
yeah. So like that is supposed to be made for the PS5, and it's supposed to be one of the first few actual games that are actually made for the PS5. You
Yeah,
know,
and that's
that we-
fine. But whenever that comes out,
solely.
that
So
comes
like
out.
that,
Well,
things like that is what
the-
I'm most interested. So to hear that God of War is not one of those games when it could have been, and like they could have mapped it towards that, is a little bit
But they
disappointing.
I feel like
need to.
the
That's the thing,
the
though.
difference between the Final Fantasy 16 and God of War, and this is a speculation in my opinion, but it's just the release date. I think because they can finish God of War sooner, they can do it and cater to the PS4 audience still. Whereas 16, God, they take forever for those Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, they would
So
take
there's
forever.
no date, there's no month, there's not even a year really for that
It's
release.
just the title.
It's
A
just
title
the
and a
title
fucking
and
trailer.
a couple in a CG trailer. That's pretty much it. So they can still take their time and cater just to PS5 because they can still release it 2 years, 3 years from now. I
But
think I think
why cater to a system why cater to a system that's going to be that is considered to be obsolete?
Well, so
Right.
No, but here's the thing.
because
The
the
5 is still new.
hold on because the new gen, yeah, exactly, because the PS5 is still new, and this has not changed. This trend has not changed. Every new system that has come out for at least the first 2 years of the new generation system, they still release the previous console version as well. And this is to still keep the fan base and the players coming so they can still continue to play on their system. And then after the 2 years or maybe possibly more, it becomes more obsolete eventually. It doesn't become obsolete as soon as the new gen system comes out or even the first year for that matter.
But the problem with this God of War, the delays that are going to happen, is that it is going to most likely be towards the later end of 2022. The way they're making it sound, or
True.
how many delays. So at that point, you're like, okay, now we're having 2 years delay, 2 years after the new next gen come out, and we're having this God of War that plays on PS4. I think they're messing up a little bit on their delay.
So you're saying the PS5 version is affected because they're catering to the PS4 version, not because of any gameplay or the game itself, but because of the release date. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because of the simple fact that the game could have been more if they would cater towards just worried about PS5, but they couldn't do that because they messed up on it. They're messing up on its release date. They were able to hit it. If they hit it right now, if they hit it this year, nobody would gripe. Nobody would say anything. But because there's another year next year, I think people are gonna be like, well, okay, now it might be a little too late.
All right, so
I
quick
cut off
question.
Randy.
You
I
could
cut
have
off
been
Randy. I cut off Randy. So let Randy go first, and then Kevin.
Just on this thing, did Resident Evil 8 lose anything off of being released on PS4 too?
No,
Because they could have easily delayed it to middle of this year or next fucking year, or whatever the case, and it still would have been the same shit.
It was an amazing
they're
game.
not adding, they're not adding anything by Jesus fucking Christ. They're not adding
Change
anything or
that
taking
picture.
anything away by Kevin by having a delay like that. Because even then, like God of War isn't the only game that's having been delayed now. Guilty Gear Strive that got delayed as well because it's mainly character balances and netcodes. No. Kevin's not saying it, so he's in the clear. I'm the one saying it, so here we go. And even then, fucking King of Fighters 15, it got delayed until when the fuck did it get delayed until? I think next year as well. But regardless, it's like
fighting games are
it doesn't matter. It's still a fucking video game. That's the thing.
Is a game is a
Because-
game.
But
Yeah.
Okay,
Because
all right,
just
but
because you
I-
don't play the
it's not.
genre
Yeah,
or
it's a
whatever the
game.
case.
No, again, okay, a game is a game, but you can't compare a game that's meant to that doesn't put like a game like a fighting game don't really perform anywhere near on. You can do Dragon Ball Z Fighters on the PS3 or the PS4 and it'll be the same fucking game. I mean, it doesn't really take the system to fucking make it what it is.
So then, why does God of War take the system and make it what the fuck it is?
Oh,
You're
because
literally
God-
being a
because
PC
God of-
supremacist
because
with
God-
PlayStation
no,
5.
because God of War has the ability to be grandiose.
And so
you
the
know,
fuck did
especially-
Cyberpunk, but it ended up being like keeping dog shit
Yes,
because
you're-
even if they
exactly.
didn't optimize it for 4,
Okay, you're
Resident
right, you're
Evil
right.
Village,
That's a great example.
no, and even then, Resident Evil Village, they bought it out for 5 and 4, and it's the same fucking thing. Like there's no big difference on that.
But
It plays the same way it's supposed
Cyberpunk
to.
was
If anything, more loading
Cyberpunk's a great
screens.
example. Cyberpunk is a great example because if they would have just catered Cyberpunk to PS5, they wouldn't have had any of these issues.
No, to be fair, also that it goes down to the publisher and such because CD Projekt Red definitely fucked up by overhyping their thing. God of War is just doing it right. As in, hey, yo, dude, like we're delaying it. We just want to make sure that it plays right on both ends. They're very much aware that. Quick question: God of War, it's a Sony game, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yes.
cool. Like that's a publisher and whatnot. All right, so obviously with Sony publishing the game, they know we're not gonna have the consoles out for everybody. they know that Kevin and I are not going to have the PlayStation 5 anytime fucking soon, whether we're looking for it or not. Even then, with what's out there now, I'm not fucking like looking to get one. Maybe later on, once 16 comes out, probably in fucking 2023 or 2024. But as of now, like with God of War coming out for both consoles, cool, no problem. I'm honestly, I think about a couple months ago, I was still finding
But
out
the
that
but the
when
question,
the
but yes,
PS3 came out, PS2 games were still being released.
but the question is, it's about affecting the capability of God of War. It's coming out.
But it
Both
shouldn't, because even
consoles.
then, like with the different versions that they
But it
have, they're
does.
gonna have a PS4 build and a PS5 build, so it's
Okay.
gonna be a okay.
Okay. So Kevin's been very patient. What's going on?
I'm sorry, Kevin.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm Randy. I'm gonna cut you. I'm gonna cut you.
I'll do
Okay,
it for you.
so
Don't worry.
got you. So the way I look at this is Grand Theft Auto 5 is a perfect example of this. You know that Grand Theft Auto 5 came out for the PlayStation 3, then it came out for the PlayStation 4, correct? Everybody agrees with that?
Yeah.
That happened.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. What is the like I like if Ragnarok would have came out for the P4 and it would have looked the way it did on P4 and then came out for P5 and it looked amazing, like I don't understand. Like the only thing they added to P4 was first person. So what possibly can they add that would change it is what I'm looking at. I don't think it would be like as severe as just a release date, because if it's just a release date then you
Well,
could wait on it.
to be
You know what I
fair,
mean?
like if we're talking about gameplay features or even like the length of the game, yes, they really don't have to do that much. But keep in mind, because the processing and the memory on the PS5 is a lot more than the PS4. Let's say, for example, I guess we're just going to talk about. I'll just bring up graphics, for example. There's going to be a lot more detail. There's going to be a lot more animation. There's going to be a lot more voice acting. There's going to be a lot more environmental features. There's going to be a lot more creatures on screen. There's going to be a lot more this, a lot more that, all processing at the same time. Now, if you were releasing it for both consoles, you can't take advantage of all that processing power without taking the PS4 into consideration. So that means you have to take off less creatures on screen. You have to make it less
Sorry.
detailed. You have to make it less lengthy. You have to take off certain things because you have to cater to PS4 as well. Now, I'm honestly not defending Danny because to me, I'm okay with the PS4 version. I just want to play the freaking game. I can care less. And the more people that get to play the game, the better they can make enough. They can make enough money to make the God of War 3, which we know is going to happen regardless. But you know what I'm talking about.
God of War 3 too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like you said, like that because they have to put on the PS4 and the PS5, they are not going to have the what they could have had, which is the like you said, they're gonna cut back. They're gonna have to cut back on graphics and what they would have had on screen all at once, going on all these crazy details and having it go smooth, and they're gonna cut back. When I think if they focused on it being on a PS5 only, they wouldn't have had to sacrifice any of that, and they could have threw
But
all the eggs into
but
it.
who
But I
who
think they
knows?
had to do that, and I think they did that because the game was supposed to be released this year, which would have
Okay.
been fine. Because if it was released this year, it would have been that in between stage where nobody really cares, because you have to have that transition, like you said.
So
But
I
Who know?
because it's another year from now, it makes it seem as if it's
so
Yeah.
this is
Okay.
another question. But Kevin, go ahead first, and I'm gonna ask a question real
Yeah,
quick after.
but my thing is, who knows if it still would have came out this year? You know what I mean? Like a lot of things happen. You know what I mean? Like even if the game was like, oh, it's gonna come out this year, it could pull a Cyberpunk. It could pull
Well,
a we need more time.
I know one of the biggest things
Go ahead.
about the delay, and this isn't like something that's been confirmed, but I just know in the industry overall, I know that one of the reasons for the delays is because of COVID, not necessarily because of the developers and everything, but also because remember, God of War is motion captured. You have to get these actors in the studios all together, acting, getting motion capture, doing voice acting, and all that stuff, and that makes things very difficult with still all
also
the
doesn't
COVID
help it.
restrictions and stuff.
Especially,
Also doesn't help that the original the motion capture for the guy died.
wait, what? Oh,
I'm sorry,
literally?
what?
I
The
didn't.
guy who the guy who did the original motion capture
For Kratos?
for Kratos and the last and Daddy Kratos as he calls it was
Yeah.
Chad Baskar
Oh,
from yeah, he actually did the body for that. Yeah, he did the entire thing.
I did not know that. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, he passed away during some of the making of it.
What was his name again?
I think it was Chad Gaspar. Well, I don't know his real name. I have no idea.
Baskar, something like that.
I thought it was Chad, his wrestling name was Chad Gaspar. I think
His wrestling name.
Oh,
Whoa.
you're talking about what's his name who died in the water?
yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was him?
Yeah.
Holy shit. All right,
Yeah.
so yeah, me and Danny are big wrestling fans, and this dude, he was a tag team wrestler, and he was on the beach.
Oh.
He was on the beach with his son, and he tried to save his son in the
Yeah,
water
that's the
and
saddest
drowned
thing.
himself.
He saved his
Oh,
son though.
I did not know that was him.
They might have both died.
No, the kid lived.
Oh, he did say he did. Yeah,
He
he
did
saved
live.
his son, and he ended up.
Yeah, he saved
not
his son,
making
and
it, yeah.
he
But
just
he
lost at
played-
sea. Oh
because
man.
they talked about what he'd been doing in the past, and it's like he did the motion capture. He was the body for Kratos.
I did not know that. Wow,
I
that's
could
crazy.
definitely see it.
Yeah, yeah.
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 Wow, that's a bummer. So
But just pour one out for Shad.
yeah, I was trying to remember what my question was too. Danny was talking about the release and stuff, so I can't even remember now. That completely threw me off. Any final
Now
comments?
you're sad.
Yeah, that's fucking depressing. Oh man. Any
It's
final
bad, man.
comments before we move on? Nothing. Okay.
Are
All
we
right.
gonna start playing The World Ends with You?